Good morning, afternoon, or evening, wherever this message finds you. Thank you for tuning in and listening. This is the annual Cold Read State of Address. When we started the show, a year and a half ago, we did it with the intention of sharing our experiences with the listener so they wouldn't make the same mistakes or go through some of the negative experiences we have. So far, we've had some listeners reach out and tell us that we've been helpful in them making the leap to begin voice acting. And that helps us to know that we're doing everything that we can to make a difference for some people. While the future of voice acting is in flux with the resurgence of in-person recording sessions, we can for now say that we will continue to provide a variety of topics and segments where we meet more of the members of this community. We keep our sights on providing bigger and better things. We want to find other projects where we can involve not only ourselves, but listeners, providing a path to help to add on to their resume. But for those projects, that may still be in the far future. We've met many friends. Some have even joined us to become guest hosts when we're not available. And we thank each and every one of them. Renara's Cold Read world continues to expand and only become a beloved series where we anxiously await the next chapter. Eldurrino has created his rock opera, which has received positive feedback, rekindling a passion for creating and writing, and continue on with bigger and better things. Misty continues to expand her roles and has recently tweeted her current role with the first 2 episodes already published. I myself have seen some limited success adding more roles and hopefully re-engaging into the voice acting soon. All in all, I'd like to think that we're on a good path moving forward. And while we don't 100% know what the future holds for us, I'm proud of our current path. To the future of Cold Read and the continued success of both listener and host. I have time for some questions. Yeah.
When do you plan to release a project as grand as Renara or Eldurrino?
I feel that I've been able to put out some good intros. While not as grand or filled with lore as they have, occasionally I can surprise the audience.
When are you going to start auditioning again?
I feel that taking time away when you're feeling overwhelmed is important. It is also important to ensure that you return at some point. My goal is to return soon, but not until I'm ready.
When does Season 3 end and Season 4 begin?
Season 3 ends at the end of June, and Season 4 will begin there shortly after.
Where do you see Cold Read in 5 years' time?
Are you still using the hat?
Is it true you're planning on exclusively being a voice actor?
How do you feel about the hat not really fitting with such a bare face? Is it undermining your authority as a wizard? Where did the beard go?
I'm a co-host, one of 4 here. I don't think I'm a leader, but oh dear. I'm an actor who does voices, and I charge 'cause I know what my rate is. I don't care how long the gig is. Got a booth and a mic, that's the business. I'm heroes and villains when places need feelings. Any script that I'm handed, I do what's demanded. But my inside voice is, you're submitting your work to a jerk for some heavy-duty analysis. My inside voice is, was Troy Baker like, yo, when did I become this big-time voice whiz? My inside voice is, I don't think that I'm perfect, but wanna get a foot into this biz. A pop or a smack, the editing will lag, and then they won't come back, and I'll never get this track. It's treasure those clips when you get on top. Whoa, the feeling that'll chip till you wanna stop. Whoa, give in to the feeling that you like this. Stop trying to create a sabotage it. Who am I if I falter at the mic? It's kinda like time will go tick when you procrastinate. Whoa, Deadlines come quick, quick, quick till it's just too late. Whoa, give it to Zamoody, he can take it. See how much longer he can fake it. Who am I to try to take it all till I falter? During auditions, you try your best, knowing you're not gonna get the commission. During auditions, you nail the take but forget to record that section. During submission, you make the letter perfect but then forget to add the audition. Static on the line, the room, me, wine. Silence not a happening, it's all kind of maddening. But hey, if I could make this cursed way of earning wages, then it means I would be employed, making a living, enjoying my time spent, instead of slowly adding more foley to this recording. It keeps going, 'cause it is flowing. Deadline comes tick, 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 and we're getting close. Whoa. Submissions need to get to send to post. Whoa, give it to Zamoody, he doesn't falter, even when the director doesn't even bother to listen to your takes until it makes you shake. 'Cause your mistakes. This line has a click, 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 and you can't record. Whoa, this one has a breath that you must have stored. Whoa, give it to Zamoody, he can take it. He's under pressure, but he'll never shake it. Who are we if we hate what we make? No clicks, no takes, with no mistakes, our pleasure. What was your question? Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome.
Oh my god!
There's my current entry for the intros, and like I said, I try to surprise you all every now and then with one, and thankfully, hopefully, you all enjoyed it.
I'm speechless.
When does the tour start?
I am utterly speechless.
So what was that, Garrett?
When does the tour start?
Well, welcome to Cold Read the Podcast. This is a podcast for voice actors by voice actors. Thank you to those that are here. Magmorta, I saw you, Rosy Cheeks. Thanks for being here. Thank you for everybody. We have a guest today. We will get to the guest here in just a moment. Thank you for being here. I've been wanting to do another parody for a while. I'm glad I was finally able to get that out. Unfortunately, not everything worked out the way that I wanted it, but hey, you know what? I think it still worked out. So I'm super happy that we got that one out. If you are here live, thank you so much for being here. If you're watching us on YouTube, thank you so much for watching. So anywhere that you get your podcast, you should be listening to us here. Keep in mind, a recording of what you just heard will be available on YouTube 24 hours after this particular episode ends, and you will have it available for anybody who wants to check it out. So yes, Magmorta, it will be on YouTube.
SoundCloud, Spotify, all those great places.
And today we're obviously going to get dinged for we won't be able to monetize this episode, which is absolutely fine. You know what? We got to do it every now and then. I think it was worth it, in my opinion.
Oh, it was worth it. 100%.
So
1,000%.
let's do what we do every time. Let's check in with our co-hosts. So we're gonna check in with Renara. Renara, how has your week been?
To put it very bluntly, not great. I've had a bit of personal tragedy my side, unfortunately. It's not been easy. It's actually been very hard. I actually managed to get back into auditioning today. This has been 2 weeks actually in the making, so I've been taking that time, as we said, to deal, and then hopefully get back on the train. But I am doing a bit of sort of thinking on what I should be doing next, either focusing on the projects that I'm still doing, or going back into auditioning. And I'm kind of at that point where I'm kind of thinking, what do I need to do now?
Gotcha.
So we'll see where we're at afterwards.
Well, thanks for being here. Hope everything's okay. And, always available if you want to talk.
It's fine. We're cleansing the house tomorrow of some negative spirits. It's fine.
Gotcha. All right. Just don't burn down the house, and we'll get to the other side of that sentence here in just a moment. Misty, how are you? We haven't talked in a while.
The air conditioning turns off soon.
You're fine.
So voice acting wise, I am very happy. The biggest project that I've really been in so far, it just officially released the 2 episodes of the audio drama that I was in called Briar Rose for the Feminist Fairy Tales podcast. Finally, I'm just so happy I finally got to hear it. It came out really, really good. It was weird hearing my voice, but I think overall I did a good job, and everyone else was fantastic. Like, it's so cool. Especially considering how that all came together with the live recording and everything. It was just a really cool experience. And slowly getting back into auditioning, really more life stuff. I'm currently gearing up to actually officially learn how to drive, so it's just
Yeah, the stress.
but it is needed. It is important.
Oof,
I'm
okay.
determined to have a car within the next few months, so it needs to happen. I need to get over it.
I know, just as a personal note, my wife didn't start driving until she was 30. So don't feel too bad about taking that a little later than usual, but yeah. Very cool.
Yeah.
Well, welcome. Hopefully you'll get that all taken care of soon. Elephant in the room, Eldurrino's obviously out today. Garrett, thank you so much for stepping in. How are you? Hello.
Well, talking about the burning house, yeah, just momentarily almost had a house fire, but we're good. We're back on track. Other than that, personal life has been doing busy auditions of finally getting back on track.
Cool.
I'm potentially in the talks with somebody for a video game.
Ooh.
And we'll see how that plays out, hopefully in the future. So
yeah.
Thank you again for letting me come and crash your all's parties.
No, thank you so much. And if every now and then you could say, drink your water, that would be great, because that would fill in for Dorino's part. And I would absolutely appreciate it.
Drink it now.
There you go. Excellent. As for me, unfortunately, we had to take last week off. I had a particular respiratory infection, not COVID. And then that led to another medical issue. So I'm still kind of in a haze coming out of it. I finally did my first stream on Thursday. I wasn't feeling up to it yesterday. Thankfully, I had enough time to get everything recorded for the intro. And I mean, in all reality, most of it was done like this morning. So
you did that battling a respiratory issue?
I wrote it battling the respiratory issue. I did the recording today. Now I'm not feeling as bad as I've been, but yeah, that's. I mean, my background comes from Twitch Sing, so I'm a little used to when it comes to the singing when you're off, but you still have to do it anyway. So yeah. But yeah, I hope you all enjoyed the intro. That was this season's parody, and we look forward to next season's, whatever we decide to make. With all of that aside, do I call you Celestielle? Should I call you Elizabeth?
Please call me Liz. Elizabeth
Liz.
is reserved solely for my parents when they're mad at me.
Gotcha. Yeah, Eduardo. If I hear Eduardo, Eduardo Riedel, I know I'm in trouble, because that's the whole thing. And it's my turn to run. So totally. Yeah. So Liz, welcome to the podcast. We always do ask, how has your week been before we get to start to know you?
It's been well. I'm just wrapping up the 3rd and final book in a trilogy that I've been doing an audiobook series with one of my best friends, Daniel Wisniewski, who is a fantastic audiobook narrator from New York. Just completed a very cool video game commission. And yeah, spent most of my day writing, most of my weekend writing. It's been very fulfilling creatively, but now, of course, I desire sleep.
well, thank
More
you.
than anything in this life.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Light hibernation.
Well, we appreciate you taking time out of your busy schedule to come in and talk to us for a bit.
Not at all.
Oh, thank you. Well, let's get started with the basics. How did you get started in this career that is voice acting?
So I began acting when I was 14. It all started because I was in a church choir from ages 10 to 14, and then the church choir I absolutely loved music, but I wanted to do something a little bit more. I've always been creative like my entire life, but by 14 I was going through my rebellious phase, and all my friends would do the school plays every year, but unfortunately my church choir rehearsals clashed with when the school play rehearsals would be. And I sort of spoke to my dad about it, and my dad was also part of the choir. My dad's a very religious man. I'm not. And the music was a very formative aspect of my identity. Like, it was all I really knew. But, you know, being 14, I was like, yeah, fuck you, Dad, you don't even know me.
I feel that, sorry.
So I went and auditioned for the play, which was Alice in Wonderland, which is one of my favourite stories of all time, and I got the Queen of Hearts. And I was a bit like, yeah, fuck this. I'm doing this instead. Which my father was not very happy about, and nor was the choir master. I was removed formally from the choir.
Yikes.
And I was like, you know what? I'm going to be the best goddamn Queen of Hearts that has ever lived. And I was.
Hell yeah.
Yes.
And so I sort of became obsessed with theatre and performing from that point onward, because I've always been a very extroverted person, but when it came to doing things like publicly and performing, like in the choir, it was fine because I was just a voice of many, but I never really felt confident in doing solos. And then when you're on a stage, it's like there's all these people looking at specifically you, and then that was the first chance I had to sort of embrace that, and it was one of the most liberating things for me. So I really fell in love with theatre from a very young age, and I've been doing it ever since. But the main thing that got me into voice acting was I've lived with a chronic disability since I was 9 years old, myalgic encephalomyelitis, also known as chronic fatigue syndrome. There's many symptoms, many things that your body's just like, nah, I'm not gonna.
Not today.
And when I was 15, 16, the school play was a musical, Just So by Stiles and Drew, and I poured my heart and soul into it. But the day before the dress rehearsal and the entire week of performing, I had a relapse. Couldn't do anything, couldn't speak, let alone sing and perform, and it broke my heart, to be honest, seeing someone else do what I loved so much.
Gonna make me cry now.
Oh.
That was
theater is tough. Absolutely.
And it still gets me. But that was when I knew that performing was my life.
Yeah.
But,
well, you've got at least you've got a medium right now where I mean I'm assuming you can put your own pace, and you can set your own schedule right now.
There's so much more control with voice acting, because yes, it's very exciting to go to studios and do things live and in person, but when you are in control of everything that's wrong with you, because that's how a lot of people see disabilities, it's how I did.
It's not wrong.
It's how I did for a very long time. I know it's not wrong. I've done a lot of study. I specialised in disability theatre during my master's degree, because it's something I'm very passionate about. But you know, it was a way for me to channel everything that I couldn't control about my life into something that I could. And so it's all I've really known since. And in university, I'm so sorry, Renara.
No, you're okay. You're okay.
Oh, no!
I'm sorry for being such an inspiration.
No, it's more the fact that I can empathise on certain levels of living with something since childhood and having to sort of deal with it in that regard. I won't go into detail about it really, but I can 100% understand and empathise. So it's one of those things where just like, oh no, hit the thing. It's all good, it's fine, continue. We'll be emotional wrecks together, it's all good.
That's how it goes. But at university, I studied theatre and performance. So it wasn't like traditional acting school where, you know, you're prancing about on a stage all day, every day. It's more the theory and history and nature of performance as we understand it in our everyday lives. So I specialised in gender, sexuality, disability, how we perform these things in our society to assimilate and survive. And on the acting side of things, I specialized in contemporary Shakespeare. I did a lot of Shakespeare. And Shakespeare is one of the things you learn from the youngest age. Like, they're forcing Macbeth and
Yes, Richard
Othello
III.
and Midsummer Night's Dream down your throats from as young as like 7, and they're like, "This is genius. Read it, children. Understand it." But of course, you don't understand it when you're 7, 11, 14 even. And so it was one of these things that sort of forced me to really analyze and understand the text that I was reading and really give everything to them. And that was, I'd been voice acting by the time I went to university for about a year, 2 years. But it was by studying theatre and Shakespeare in particular, who is one of the great loves of my life, to understand how to take words that people might not necessarily understand and make people understand them. And that's how I sort of learned to use my voice and want to use my voice to make things accessible, because my disability stopped me from being accessible and the thing that I loved being accessible. So that's been me the last 6 years or so, 7.
Oh.
Can I give you a hug? I want to just like give you a hug you through the screen right now. My God.
Oh, lots of hugs.
Sure, babe, come over. My parents are home.
Ooh.
Wow.
Hey now.
Oh God, I'm blushing. Jesus.
Oh, goodness.
That's how I rope them in. I get them crying, and then I hit them with the come over. You up?
Oh, God's above. Help. Zamoody, help.
Well, I can absolutely applaud you for all of the work that you've... I mean, I can tell you're very passionate about this, and it's good to see somebody giving those that may not have had that opportunity to be able to be on stage. And it's I've never heard of that type of theater, so it's definitely something that I'm gonna have to look more into. So thank you for that, 100%.
Welcome.
Yeah. So, okay, well, that's, and a lot of us take I'm a community theater actor too, so I completely understand. Obviously not as grand as, I've done a Midsummer Night's Dream. I was Nick Bottom in it. It was a ton of fun to be
the best role.
Yes. Lines still pop up in my head from time to time, talking about walls and chinks and a lot of other stuff that keep happening. Yeah, absolutely. So it's good to hear that, that part of the progress is about the same. So when did you get into the digital side? When did you start? First, let me ask you, how did you start with the voice acting part, the digital voice acting part?
It's very similar to how I got into acting as well. So this is going to require a little bit more explanation for the American audience, because when you turn 16 in the UK, you go to what's called sixth form. I think for you guys that would be junior, senior year of high school. So you have 2 years where you study like up to 4 specialized subjects that then determine where you go for university. So like I did
16, 17 years old. I think, is it? Yeah, 16, 17 years old.
16, 17, 18. Yeah.
Okay.
So I did fine art, creative textiles, drama, and Spanish.
Wow.
Which already all coursework subjects, which were a mistake for someone who still didn't have a handle of their disability. And something else that you can do is called the Extended Project Qualification, which is sort of like a dissertation. Yeah, Renara.
I did that too!
It's sort of like a dissertation where you can choose anything in the world to research, and you can either present a very long-winded, boring essay, which, as you're 16, you don't give a shit about that.
No.
Or you can do a creative project. And so me already doing 3 creative projects, as my A-levels, I was a bit like, yeah, fuck it, what's one more? And so I decided that I wanted to teach myself how to create a audio drama series just by myself. So I taught myself how to sound edit, produce, direct, do all of that. I wrote all the scripts. And my dad was like, Elizabeth, no, you are failing Spanish. You are dropping out of Spanish. Like, you cannot take on more. And I was like, fucking watch me. And in hindsight, it was the best thing I ever did, because I got a 100% score on it. I got a perfect score because I'd produced 12 episodes of fully fledged, written, voice acted, international cast, like full bibliography, everything audio series. And so at the end, I was like, fucking told you. And that was when I fell in love with audio drama as well as a medium, and that's why I'm still producing them to this day.
Wow.
Nice.
So no half measures for you. You just ran, huh?
No, it's all or nothing. Get in the bin.
Wow.
So,
in the bin. Yeah.
in the bin.
In the bin.
But the reason that I got into voice acting was because I forgot to set up a casting call for one of the characters, and I was like, shit. So I just did it myself, and then I was like, wait.
Discord could not handle just the level of detail.
Absolutely
so many
not.
twists and turns, and
Okay, so you had to cast yourself in a particular role.
Yeah.
Of this were you given did you give yourself a big part unintentionally, or is it kind of
she was in like 2 or 3 episodes, but she was like a backstory love interest who got brutally murdered, and so that became my typecast. Just I want to die viciously. Can you cast me as someone who dies viciously? I can choke myself. I can prove how good I am. So that sort of
the female Sean
streak
Bean. Yeah.
Yes.
The female Sean Bean of voice acting. There we go.
That or
so that was gonna ask one of the things that I noticed that you said that you had over like 100 credited roles, I believe is what I read on your website. Yep. So
say like 150 now.
Okay, so
who's counting?
I don't know where they all are, so I couldn't count. But
not a big deal.
Something like that. Like, do you have any of those like specifically that like kind of like stick out at you? Like this, you're like ones that you can kind of pull down and be like, yes, this one was like the fun one. Yeah, like.
Yeah. So Renara's gonna love this. I am huge on Skyrim. It means
I'm so happy.
Me. So I've been working on a Skyrim follower mod, a female follower mod, because there's no female characters made by people that you download into Skyrim that don't make me want to walk into the ocean.
Ouch. Wow.
So
Okay.
I was like, I want to make my own. She's asexual. You cannot romance her. If you try, she leaves you for being a creep.
Ooh.
Oh yeah. Sorry.
Yes.
A lot of thumbs up from the crew. Wow.
Yeah.
Representation is important.
Ace Demi right here, baby.
Thank you. So I've been working on her for over a year now. She's expanded massively from what I thought she would be, but because I've built her from the ground up, which is what I love to do, she is probably the staple of some of the performances that I put the most heart into, because Skyrim's a game from 2011. There's some questionable choices in there. None of the romances or female characters are generally that exciting. Mm-hmm. People like to think that Serana is the most interesting, which is factually inaccurate, but we will not be getting into that, because I could go for days and days about that. But
thank you.
I wanted to create a character where I felt represented as a queer woman. I don't quite know where I stand. I go constantly from thinking that I'm bisexual to asexual to just thinking, what the fuck am I? I don't even know. Lockdown's been weird.
You are human. That is that. We hope.
Yeah. And also one that felt dynamic and felt fun and not like she had to be this archetype of I'm a strong, independent, cool woman, because that's not a personality. That's a male character that happens to be female. And so I've been trying really hard to make a character that I care about that feels like me, because I think it's very hard sometimes for people to see that in pretty much any media, let alone video games, which are very much like fantasies. That's sort of what they are. I wrote my dissertation on it. So that, and
so you're doing obviously you're doing the voice for it, I'm assuming. Are you doing the coding behind it too, or are you
Yep.
giving? Wow.
coding, writing, level design, everything. Which is how I got my full-time job as a game designer.
Wow.
And
I was wondering about that because I looked at it. I'm going to butcher the way it's pronounced. Is it Mutate?
Mutate, yes.
Awesome. Because that, from what I saw about that, it seems to be another version of like the creation kit, or it seems to me like one of those things of you download it and you're able to use it to make other games, sort of thing.
Yes.
Are you coding that? Are you making?
No.
Okay.
Like I do many things, a woman of many hats, fingers in every single pie, but coding, maths. So I barreled my way through making Avenoir, my follower, and I sort of rode off the back of, I have a master's degree in writing, I have years of experience in design and creating things, so I can make all these cool dungeons, make them work fine. She does very basic things, but she has a lot to say. So what I do for Mutate is I create levels and I manage the community, and I sort of get people creating, because the whole platform of Mutate is democratizing game design. It's making it accessible. It removes the code from the game, so players and creators just sort of click, hey, I want this to happen when I do X, Y, Z. So then, the coding team does all the coding, and then everyone else can just sort of do what they want with it. So we
it's
don't
like
have
a
to worry
bunch
about
of
that.
Pre-made assets that and animations and like bits and pieces that people can sort of use as jigsaws to put together to make a game.
Exactly.
That's cool.
Really,
I need that.
It is. I could talk for days about how much I love it.
Wow.
Sounds really cool.
So this is a community manager type of role, or?
I believe the official title is Junior Game Developer and Community Manager, just because I'm so important and amazing. But
Oh yes.
Absolutely, so far.
I have to assume, but
So did the Skyrim stuff start the game dev journey, or was there like something that kind of like sparked it beforehand?
and no, because I've loved Skyrim like since forever. One of my first voice acting projects was the Forgotten City mod way back in 2016 when I was about 17. So looking back, I'm like, oh, burn it. But
Which was a BAFTA-nominated game, I might add.
I know, I was in it.
Right.
Just for everyone listening, just so they hear that, yeah.
I was highly obnoxious on my Instagram, being like, vote for us, god damn it.
Remind me to add you to your Instagram just to back you up. Because let me tell you, my goodness, your passion just flows through. I'm absolutely taken aback at everything that you've got going. Very, yeah. I think we all.
You get the shoulder action for that. Come on.
Again, for those of you that are watching, this will be available on YouTube.
Please, sourcing links.
So, wow. So after you've produced your thing, did you make the jump to professional? How did you make that conversion over?
Yeah, so I'd wanted to make mods for years, but I sort of had this preconception that coding would hold me back, and I had so much else going on. I was, doing my undergrad while also being disabled and doing like 30 shows over the 3 years, and then also voice acting on top of that as like almost a full-time thing. And then I did a master's degree, and then wouldn't you know it, global panini, everything's fucked.
Yep.
But then because we were in lockdown and I sort of had nowhere to go, and I was sort of running out of creative things that felt new and fulfilling, I was like, fuck it, let's do it, rip off the band-aid. And the reason that I sort of was motivated to do it is because I was cast a couple months beforehand in Skyrim Extended Cut, which is this big overhaul mod we're basically redoing the entire main quest line to make it good. Sorry, Todd, please put me in Elder Scrolls 6. It's not a request.
That is
a man.
If you want to say it like that. But I fell so much in love with the community and the team there, and I was already voicing one of the main antagonists and one of the main followers. And I sort of turned to the director Carter, and I was like, hey, I'm thinking about doing this. And he was like, go for it. Just do it. And I was like, yeah, okay. So I sort of threw myself into Avenoir, and then I showed him my progress, and he was like, hey, do you want to come be a developer for Extended Cut? You're like really good. And I was like, yes. And then he sort of found out that I had a master's degree in writing for performance, and he was like, hey, do you want to be a writer as well? And I was like, yes, I do. So now I do like 6 things over there, and I've loved every second of it. I spent my entire day today writing a quest.
Oh, that's what you were writing.
Yeah, I've got about 30 pages out, and I'm only like half done. So,
Wow.
Yeah, we're really throwing everything into this project, which, you know, is how we like to do over at the Plant Household. And so, you know, I've only really been doing game dev for a year, just over a year.
Okay.
But as I sort of said, I wrote my dissertation, my senior thesis, if you will, at university on how the voice acts as a bridge between fantasy and reality in video game. How the presence of a voice creates a human identity that you can identify with within the digital, and that is what makes us care a lot about video games and media and animation. And I was like, holy shit, video games are actually really fucking sick. Like, they are this incredible thing that connects so many people. Like, even games that don't have multiplayer, like Elden Ring, like the entire world is just unified by fucking millennia. Or I don't know, I haven't played it. I have no reaction time. Like, I own the FromSoft games. I wrote about some of them in my dissertation. Have I played them? No. I'm not brave enough.
I also have Elden Ring in the bullpen, so I know what you mean. Yeah.
Is now a good time to say I've never played Elden Ring.
Oh, I have like 200 hours. I got you.
Get out of here, you wench.
What's that, Misty?
I wish I could.
Well,
but, I wish I could. I'm not bold enough again to try the Souls games, and my partner, who is experienced, unfortunately, his PC does not have the power to handle that game, and he wishes. It breaks my heart. I'm like, I wish you could. I know everyone loves this game, but he's like, I can't.
Bigger power supply. That's all you need.
I'm afraid of picking it up because I know it's going to eat up so much of my time that
it 200 hours.
Oh,
Yeah,
man.
200 hours.
That's me with Spiritfarer at the moment. I'm obsessed with Spiritfarer.
I love Spiritfarer.
That's what I wanted to try too.
It's such a, and that one's not too powerful too. So I mean, if you have just a kind of a bargain PC, Spiritfarer is so good. The story's so nice. The gameplay isn't stressful. It's like you can just move along. Yeah. Oh well. It's
you know how it's all fine and chill and dandy, and then the fucking Greyhound comes aboard, and she's like, "I'm just gonna be a bitch for no reason." Do this Dark Souls obstacle course. I'm like, no. But then you can't get her off your boat until you do it. So I just angrily got through her section. I was like, get in the fucking door and die. And then I went back to like being chill with like the Snake Lady and Gustav and his little violin. I'm never gonna let Gustav go. I'm sorry.
See, it must be a British thing because I'm finally someone else who doesn't, who also rambles. So just so everyone else knows.
What do you mean? I just have a lot to say. I'm a woman of
Exactly.
words. I will not be silenced.
Good.
Yes. So
yeah, knew that was covered. I was hoping.
yes, to circle back to the question.
On
Yeah,
topic.
I turned professional game dev because I did have a job as a podcast producer with a company that we shall not speak its name. It is the Voldemort of companies. A lot of things went wrong, and I was just treated like shit, which for someone with, I hesitate to say my credentials because that's just, what are you doing? But like, for someone who has so much experience in audio, like years and years and years of producing it, I'm just a bit like, you're really gonna treat me like that? Absolutely not.
Wow.
So I left, and then I had to immediately find a job like super fast, and then I was like, you know what? Fuck it, all my life I've only committed to things that I want to do, because I'm the most special boy in the universe, and I want to be a game designer. So I went out and I got this job, and I was like, yeah, cool, I'm satisfied.
I want to bottle your drive and determination and like buy cases of it. Let me tell you. Yeah, just start.
Would you settle for a Yankee Candle filled with love?
Yeah, absolutely. At this point.
There we go. That's you. That is spiced orange.
Nice.
From your spicy lady.
Nice. Wow. Okay. So your roles and everything else, I mean, that you've been getting, is there a particular place that you normally would go to get that? Or I'm assuming at this point people are approaching you about projects?
A fair amount. To be honest, it's been a very long time since I actually auditioned for anything.
Okay.
I only really audition for things that genuinely interest me because I'm fortunate enough to have a full-time job which pays me very well and I really enjoy it. Like, that is a hugely privileged position that I'm coming from. So I only audition for things that I know I would excel in and feel creatively fulfilling to me.
Okay.
I'm very fortunate to be in that sort of community of people who are constantly producing fiction podcasts and audio dramas and video games. I have a very good ring of friends and servers and Twitter communities that I can turn to that are constantly generating content, and I think it's a really brilliant thing. But for a majority of the roles and approaches that I have, I sort of rely on Fiverr, which feels like the cardinal sin of that. But
we're not against it. Misty is very, very well versed in Fiverr, so we're.
It's okay.
Yeah, I've got, I think, about 100 things from Fiverr thus far. Some of them have been, you know, a bit, well, I'm saying this now. I'm voicing an advert for Hoover's. Cool. But
if it pays, it pays.
It does indeed. Recently, I just got approached and received a commission from Warhammer, of all things.
Oh my god, I love you. I'm sorry. I have to tell Grimace.
Well,
oh my god.
I'm
like,
just gonna
I'm
go,
content.
guys.
Right, I'm in the same boat, Garrett, at this point. Yeah.
That is, I just want to put it in perspective of Warhammer is like the iceberg of, like, literally, like, you can't touch them. They won't, if they come anywhere near you, it's like, oh my god, I have been chosen. They are very picky. That is insane. Sorry.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah.
So, like,
sort of,
I'm gonna give you my address, and you're gonna send me your autograph, and
And if you have an extra candle for Garrett, I'm sure you'd
Time.
appreciate it.
extra candle for me.
Would you like lemon or raspberry?
Raspberry. Hello.
Lemon.
There we go. Oh, this one still has a match in it, so you know that's
Ooh.
extra luck,
There you
extra
go.
spice, extra flavor.
Well, I'm looking at your website. By the way, it's very well designed. Absolutely.
Yes.
When did the website
Thank
come into
you.
play?
That I think maybe early 2020. You know how mothers are. They're like, I don't know how old any of you are, but my parents are of the generation that it's like, well, what if you just walked up and gave them your resume? And I'm like,
Yeah.
no, Caroline, this isn't the 1800s. But because I do so many things, she was sort of like, you need a place to showcase this. She bullied me for weeks, honestly, because she was in charge of her company's website. And so she was like, if I can do it, I'm a 60-something-year-old woman who still calls a remote a channel changer. If I can build a website, you can build a website. And I was like, fine. So I mostly made it, you know, about 2 years ago to appease my mum and be like, look, I did it. I'm showing how good I am. But now, more recently, I'm taking a lot more pride in it because I think a lot of my life I do a lot of things. Like, I've spent a while talking about all the things that I do, but I don't really let myself be proud of them.
Mhm.
So I'm trying to, with the portfolio I have up there in particular, I'm trying to really remind myself of what I've done and be proud of it.
I mean,
Like, I can't really speak for how effective it's been in getting me work, but
I'm proud for you.
Exactly.
Like, come on.
Same.
well, now you get the other shoulder.
Goodness.
We need to get some like sellotape for this dress or something. It's absolutely ridiculous.
So, did you approach like an external website? Like, did you literally code the website yourself? And like how did that come about? Like,
I've been
did
over
you
this, darling. I don't know how to do maths. You asked me what a surd is? Absolutely not. Let alone code a website. Come on.
No point. Truth, yes.
I think we're all
So,
curious
like,
because we've all wanted to
yeah.
create one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I use Wix to create my website.
Hey.
That's what
That's what I've been wanting to use, honestly.
Yeah, I recommend it a lot more than WordPress. No offense to anyone that stands WordPress out there.
Yeah, if you want to
Elliot, I'm
sponsor
sorry.
us, it's perfectly fine. Yeah, we're good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that Wix is the most accessible, and for me, like, I don't have a lot of time, and so it was really easy just to whack something out. And they have a lot of like stock cool things that you can use as backgrounds, and I'm like, yeah, that appeals to me.
What about because you have some of your demo tapes up there. When did you decide to put up your demo reels?
It was peer pressure mostly that decided that, because I don't really know how to be a Twitter VA. Like, I don't know how it works. I mostly just sort of tweet my thoughts into the void, share a couple thirst traps, and like post to my art and stuff. But I don't really know how to network in that way, and so I didn't have a demo reel for the longest time. The one that you guys all reacted to was one I made about 2 years ago, and since have burned and thrown into the ether.
Whoa.
Oh.
Hold on, our bot just lost it for a second. Give me just a moment. It's like Discord is not reacting correctly to. Everybody should still be able to hear y'all. It's just now we can't see you. So
Love the cameras.
now give me a second.
Oh, quick, good. Fluff myself up.
Fluff yourself up. Nice.
It was the damn shoulder. I just got too excited.
Wow, there we go. We are back
Handle the
on.
heat.
We are back on. Thank you very much. Sorry. Discord apparently is having a lot of issues today. So,
Oh,
I
no.
knew I was coming. It's
well, I don't. Your grim determination is just making the server completely blow up. So thank you so much for that. Okay. Well,
like that.
yeah. So we reacted to your demo reels, and those aren't there anymore.
Well, like, I'm sure it's there.
Okay.
Like, it's just I don't know
Twitter
how I do not know how you found it, given that my
I think it was
actual demo reel
Renara
is-
that recommended it.
I don't
It was on
understand though, because my actual demo reel is pinned to the top of my profile, so I don't know how you scrolled through 2 years to find the old one.
No. So all
Absolutely
I
psychopath.
No! Oh, this is making me sound like a terrible human being now. No, all it was literally I was like, right, we have not reacted to many female VA demo reels recently, so I just put female VA reel in like the search bar for Twitter, and yours was one of like the top 3 that turned up, and I listened to you and I went, oh my god, who is this clone of me? What is going on currently? I then realized you did Skyrim stuff, and then I went, guys,
Yeah.
could we possibly,
Can
but
we
yeah.
just have a simp circle, please?
No.
For a friend.
I'm allowed to be excited for fellow VAs, and it's just allow me to be happy here. Come on.
You have my permission.
Thank you.
Rambles. Ooh, 2 in an episode. I'm happy about that.
Twice. Oh no.
I'm very
We gotta
happy.
get it to 3.
Oh,
we're setting a precedent now,
I
and that's
know.
not a good idea.
I know. All right. And before I start, because we've got at the very least we've got about 10 minutes left. Any other? I know you guys all have any questions that you all want to bring up. Now would be a good time. Before
Yeah, because all
I
of
think
them were kind of answered, and then my last one was also set design in theatre 2. Help. was literally the last thing I wrote. Because I looked through your entire website. 1, your website is amazing. 2, I struggled so much to try and pronounce the first name of Skyborn, because I was like Evanwar, Avenor, not sure.
Yeah, she
But
has.
Because I looked at your level designing, and the lighting and the atmosphere that is in some of the pictures just sort of blew me away, and I kind of wondered, like, I was like going, is that has she got film experience? And then I read on and it said theatre design. I was like, oh, that'll be that. I don't know. It was all of like, you've answered a lot of my questions like on your website, so I'm kind of like, oh.
Yeah, you don't do like 12 years of fine art without going to uni for theatre and not build a couple sets, which are probably some of the coolest things I think I did at uni. I'm very proud of them.
Here's another question. Have you ever thought about branching into studying film and perhaps the more like media side on like television, single camera, these sorts of things at all? Ever?
Did. At uni in my second year, I did a film module for a year, which was very fun, but I don't like working with people. I
get that.
Like theatre, you're very much all there for the same thing. You have the same set goal. Everyone is doing everything all at once. But in film, it's like you can't get into a rhythm with film. With theatre, you start a run, you keep going until it's done. With film, it's just micromanaging on every single level, and it got exhausting. Like we spent a year making 2 short films totaling about 15 minutes between them both, and I was like, no, I will gladly get up at like 5 a.m. to go do a get-in that lasts 13 hours in a theatre, building shit on my hands and knees, getting covered in paint and like drilling holes into myself, but I will not get up at 5 a.m. to go film in the snow because global warming is fucking up my march. Like, no. Like, when I was unemployed, like midway through the pandemic, when Boris was like, we should open things when we really shouldn't have done, I was applying for loads of jobs like on Creative Access, being like, fuck it, film runner, I don't care, just get me into an industry that I care about. So there was a time, only because I was just throwing things into the void and getting nothing back, that I was like, sure, film, TV, fuck it, let's just go. But it's not what I'm passionate about, and I think should be very obvious what you're passionate about, and you should pursue it no matter what. So that's what I'm doing.
Good. Wow. I mean, I'm still absolutely speechless. Garrett, did you have something?
I noticed.
Voice actor.
I noticed that on your website you had a slew of accents that you are also capable of doing.
Capable, not good.
Capable. Is this something that you kind of like learned or developed over time, or was this something that like through theater classes you kind of developed, or was there like a resource out there that you were able to use to help you with that?
So a lot of I learn by hearing. Like when I was in my choir all those years, there's something in my brain that like can't really process musical notes. And so if I was ever asked to sight read anything, like one of the ways that you had to move up the ranks and get all the different medals and get paid more and blah, 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 as like a 12-year-old, you had to do like exams where you had to sight read a song. And I don't know how I passed all of them because it just made no sense to me. And so I had to learn all of the songs by listening to everyone else in the choir around me. And so that's sort of how I picked up American. As you know, there's so much American media out there. I can't say I'm great at it, but I can like hold fairly consistently and like a standard American accent. He asked me to do like anything Boston, Georgia, anything. I'm like, where the fuck is that? So it's just one big place. Okay. You got the president's house, and I don't know, maybe there's Broadway, and then there's Biscuit Country. I don't know. The incorrect biscuits.
Oh, yes.
At uni, because I didn't study acting in the same way that RADA or Lambda or something would teach it, a lot of what I learned was from having to do. Like we did Mr. Man by Enda Walsh, which is set in rural Ireland. And I wasn't in it. I was the designer for that show. It was one of the coolest shows I ever worked on because it's a one-man show, but we turned it into like an 8-piece ensemble drama. And 2 actors, one male, one female, played the main role. And the female actress, Molly Parker, she is an accent coach professionally now, I believe. And so she did a lot of teaching on set for just about everyone. And so that's sort of how I learned my Irish accent, was just sort of, constantly building sets around them while they were working and getting to see them perform this show over and over and over again, which is very fitting because the show is about cycles and starting again and reliving the same day over and over and over. So there's not really resources that I found because I'm a cheapskate. I don't like paying for things. I've never been to like a formal voice acting class. Like you see all these people on their resume. It's like, here's all the training I've been to. I'm like, nah. I learned by doing. I didn't pay a single fucking penny. How does it feel, suckers?
Still goes to show that you can do this kind of work with little to no training.
Yes.
Precisely.
As long as you have the fire dedication that Liz has.
Well, there's only so many shoulders I have left. I think that's the biggest misconception, because I've had several of my friends from university who were stage actors wanting, mostly during the pandemic, like, I want to get into voice acting because I still want to act, but we can't go on stage anymore. I know who does that, Liz. And I'm just like, hey, like, you don't need to buy cool equipment. Like, I, until maybe a year ago, was still using my Snowball microphone, and that saw me a decent amount of success, I would say, to the point where now I have the setup that I have, but I'm still using a cupboard. Like, I don't even have the cool foam that you guys have. I just have that shitty wardrobe that's filled with blankets and shit.
It works.
It works. It works, though, so...
Exactly.
And my roommate gets very mad at me for stealing the fan because I'm too tall for it, so I have to prop it up on a chair and then drape a blanket over my head. So, that's the first rule of voice acting. Be born short so you don't have to struggle so much.
6'1" here,
Or get the booth and try to go that route. But yeah, I mean,
yeah. Or just like cut your knees off. I don't know your life.
Love it.
Yeah, there's a lot of misconceptions that you have to be able to do everything in order to be successful. Like accents, you saw my reaction to when you brought them up. I don't think I'm very good at them. There are some that I can do more comfortably than others, usually British ones. Goes with the territory. But for the most part, I don't use accents in my acting. I think the most valuable tool you have is your own voice. And when you get an understanding of who you are, you can really understand characters and how to bring them to life so much more. Like, with so much more life than if you think, I'm going to really impress this director. I'm going to be Scottish for absolutely no fucking reason. It's like, no. Like, what are you doing? Like, no.
I love it. Liz, I'm going to ask you if you have any questions for us here after the next couple of questions. I just want to give you a heads up. I will ask this that I normally do everybody else. If you were able to go back and see your 10 to 14-year-old self and give yourself one piece of advice, what would it be?
I'm going to cry again.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to.
Hydrate.
Yeah, 100%. Yes,
There we go, there's that.
But take a drink.
Yeah, it feels like the cosmetic answer I would give is don't be sick for just so, but I honestly can't give that advice because that whole tragedy is what inspired me. So I think I would say the pain is only temporary. Your ambition is forever.
Oh, love it. Well said.
Wow. Woo.
100%. I may keep that one and put it up somewhere. I thank you for that.
Tattoo shoulder.
Yeah, well, I'll put it under the hat. I'll put it in a note. I'll put it inside the hat.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that'll absolutely work. Same kind of question. If somebody approaches you saying, "Hey, I want to start voice acting," what would you tell them? I mean, you kind of already answered this. I'm just wondering if there's anything else you want to point them at.
No gacha Minecraft auditions.
Yes! That's 90% of Casting Call Club, but that's fine.
And don't forget the Minecraft role playing, so I might add. But
18 plus only. Giving them block titties.
Can I name this episode that?
Well, if you weren't getting monetized before...
Yeah, I mean, it's already demonetized.
it was already demonetized. We're good.
The block titties episode. Woo!
The two genders. Last answer, this answer. Yeah, so I would just say to have fun. Like, acting is such a draining thing. It can take so much of you, but the best part is that it is you, because like once you strip away all the artifice of characters and scripts and all the processes that you go through, and you're just a person sitting in a closet screaming for money, like it's just about fun. It's just about creating a story, and that is why I do it. I love stories. Stories are what bring people together, and that is the only thing that matters in this life.
Wow. All right. Any questions for us? I think you're allowed to say don't worry about it, you know?
You can't say no. You can wholeheartedly say no.
So I don't know too much. I haven't done anywhere near the reams of research you've done on me, but what is the role that has impacted you the most,
Ooh.
if there is one?
Oh,
I'll let Renara start.
Oh no, don't make me start. I gotta think properly first. Actually, no, I don't. I won't actually. Fuck it. Allow me this third Ren Rambles tripod. A lot of people know this already.
Yes!
I went to university to study film. That was my goal. I got through it just barely by the skin of my teeth, and then I ended up doing a film course in London that hospitalized me from the stress, and multiple other things. I then went through. I'm shaking. I ended up, unfortunately, developing some form of PTSD from it, and I haven't been able to pick up a camera since. And during this whole area with this, along with like it started in university, but it was like I auditioned for something called Skywind back in university and didn't think I'd get anything from it. A few weeks down the line, they asked me to do Dunma. And then I was like, oh, okay, cool. Why? You've got a very low voice for a woman and we like it. Okay. Okay.
It also helps you're British.
It also helps that I'm British and I fit the stereotype of that. But then it has now, after the whole, because I started doing that and then I kind of finished like the first half of it and then kind of forgot about it for a few months. Then the whole debacle with the PTSDs happened, and then I ended up hearing back from them, and now I'm voicing not only like 17 to 18 named characters, but I'm also doing like a bunch of townsfolk, bandits, some Argonian I think is in there somewhere, and it's kind of snowballed from there. And it was that moment where I kind of had the thing of, okay, I went through that moment of, well, if I can't do film, if I can't do what I've spent my literally entire life almost preparing for, I'm going to go back to what I absolutely love doing, and that was acting. And from there on out, it's kind of just gone from there. So that's me.
Nice.
That's me. I'm going to hide in the corner now.
No, you're good. I'm not going to play it for you, so you're perfectly fine. Misty or Garritt, or do you want it? Is that what I just heard, or?
It's got to come in threes. Three is the magic number.
You can't disappoint. I've got my shoulders out so many times.
Exactly.
Come on, I don't put out this often.
Even Garrett's getting in on this now.
I'm trying.
A sexual revolution. My power.
Garritt?
So I don't have anything like big, like awesome, like role things. My very first, sorry, my quote unquote big role was a parody for Black Butler on YouTube a long time ago, where I got to play Sebastian. And it was the first time I ever got to actually like, all right, like this is it. It's a long-term thing. And it kind of gave me the idea of like, hey, I'm doing this. Like I'm actually acting, getting out there. We had we went to a convention, and with it all, like it turned into this big thing. And that's kind of like where I started realizing that like, hey, this is kind of cool. My biggest impact, though, I feel like was actually not a role, but in a class. I took a class with J. Michael Tatum, and he challenged us to do improv reads. And He gave me a comedic one, and then he turned around and flipped it and made it a dramatic one. And it was just after, shortly after I lost my dad. And he made me do it in a read that was a friend had just committed suicide.
Oh no.
And it was just so raw and so like I felt like I did it, and then it made everybody kind of like pause, and I had to like step away, but then like I realized like that was kind of like the fun part of the acting. Like I really got to like throw myself into it, whether I meant to or not. And I definitely think that was like kind of that pivotal role moment thing for me.
Wow. Misty, anything?
For me, it's like I guess the role that I just recently got, because unfortunately I've been stuck on Fiverr for 8 years, so I haven't really gotten anything like significant. This is the first big role, I guess. Not even really big, but first significant role I've gotten. And
yeah.
The way that the story goes is what really like connected with me, and that it's a different retelling of Sleeping Beauty, but the way it ends is really lovely because she woke herself up. She didn't need anybody to wake her up, because it was about her really loving herself and accepting that she is like the most important thing really in her life, and the love for herself is the most important thing. And it even adds a little extra thing at the end where it's like some people say she married her female friend, some people say she married her male friend, some people say she stayed single. It doesn't really matter. And that's like, yeah, truth, fairy tales, like most typical fairy tales are like, oh yeah, and then she married the prince or whoever. It's like, it doesn't matter. What matters is that she lived out the rest of her life and did what she loved, and that's what should matter to everybody. It's like, yeah, I agree with that.
Very cool.
I'm glad that role found you.
I'll throw my Skyrim hat in for this one too. The first role where I was like, wow, it was 2,000 lines for a mod called Somerset Isle, done by You Don't Belong Here or something. It's like, why is that the same one?
Yeah, I'm not.
Okay.
Oh, yes!
So unfortunately, when initially we started it, the character is called Telmatarian. He's a companion. It's literally me in a digital form. I got to literally just be myself in my personality, and it was 2,000 lines unpaid.
Oh yeah.
Holy mackerel. And unfortunately, he wrecked the mod, and he's now separate and available for people to download on the side. So he's not actually in the Somerset Isle mod anymore. He's just a separate entity in his own. But it was a lot of fun. It was good being in there. It was very interesting because there was a lot of chipping and editing and chopping up for everything just to line up, and it was an undertaking. It was the first time I ever did something large, and I realized this is what I want to do. So I'm looking forward to rekindling all that and getting myself back into it. So that's coming up in the future. Liz, Eldurrino is going to be really mad at me if I don't ask you.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
What's your favorite pizza topping?
Just one.
That was what I said.
He wants me to say pineapple to be the needless contrarian. That
No, you're good, because a lot of us are here.
So well.
That was pure sarcasm. I've never had a Hawaiian pizza, so I have no say in this. But
Damn it.
Okay.
no, like
You're giving the boys false hope, unfortunately.
that's what I do every day. There's only really two types of pizza that I ever order. It's either when I'm in Italy with my family and you get like the cool, like rustic, genuine Italian pizza, or I get Domino's, in which case every single time I will get the meteor because I'm a filthy slag, and I just want to be drowning in grease.
Nice.
So I have no. Actually, no. My favorite pizza topping is the Domino's garlic and herb dip.
Aha.
Yes, I can agree with that. 100%. Yeah. Yeah.
I will now no longer be able to send this episode to my parents.
No, it wasn't from the shoulder and the other thing from earlier. No,
I know I dress like this. I mean, it's usually stuff like this. That's but
Oh, okay.
breasts aren't sexual inherently. Get that in your filthy minds.
Well, Liz, thank you so much for being here. I literally could have you on for at least another
Is that what
hour.
I end on?
Yeah.
You were wonderful, seriously.
No, 100%.
That sums up how this entire episode just like perfectly.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Thank you. I've had such a lovely time.
Well, on behalf of the Cold Read crew, thank you so much again for being here. And to our listeners and viewers, thanks everybody who's here, whether you were live or YouTube or anywhere else. Keep in mind, if you have a topic for us to talk about, you have something in mind, email us at ColdReadthePodcast@gmail.com. You can join our Discord server. We're all active on there. We'll be more than happy to point you in a direction or anything to that effect. If you have a question, if you have an audio file you want us to listen to, we are very, very constructive. We will not put anybody down. We will tell you how it is, but it'll set you on the right path. So please send those in. We'll be more than happy to listen. And then, yes, thank you so much for the candle. 100%, Liz. I appreciate it. Any final words for everybody, Liz, since you've got... Or do you want to end on garlic?
Pressure. Like a drip, drip, drip that'll never stop.
Absolutely.
That's my final word.
Yes!
Full circle, baby!
Woo! And gentlemen, that's been our show. Thank you so much for being here. Thanks to everybody. Garrett, thanks for stepping in for Eldurrino. In 2 weeks, we're gonna have our interview with Crown Stag. I know everybody's looking forward to that as well. Topic for next week will probably be the remote versus in-person recording. That's the thing that's been going on Twitter, so keep an eye out and we'll talk about it. Yes, 100% drink your water, everybody.
Water.
Absolutely. And I will hand off to Renara for our send-off.
Okay, so oh god, I keep forgetting every week. I think honestly, I think genuinely, Liz has reminded me of just that this whole process is a journey, and you always start somewhere. And you always have just that one thing that will spark your passion, your creativity, and just if you have something that's in your mind that you want to do and you want to put pen to paper, just do it. Do it now. Get that pen, type it up, don't let your dreams be dreams, guys. But no, seriously, you do not need permission to create. You only need permission to make money off of certain things, but you do not need permission to create for anything. And you do not need permission to learn at all. As I think Liz has kind of like taught me in the sense of like, if I want to try and learn something, just go ahead and bloody do it. I have been told. But no, keep doing it. Keep doing what makes you happy. Because if you're not enjoying this, then what's the point? And keep doing one step at a time. Learn to rest, because we are all human and we all have our own speeds. You are not beholden to anyone but yourself. So be nice to yourself and be nice to the person you are growing into, because we are all people and we're all changing. And I will leave it there.
That's our show, everybody. Thank you so much for being here. We'll catch you all next time. Bye!
Bye!
Drink water. There you go.